Hello everybody! Today I have another review video for you all. Hooray! And in today's review video, I'm going to be checking out Transformers Legacy Evolution Scraphook. Now, right off the bat, you can see that this guy is quite a unique figure. He's got a lot of browns and oranges on him. He's not colored. He's not like a normal colored Transformer with like the bright, simple, flashy colors, but a lot more apocalyptic looking. Now, before we get into this video, this guy actually kind of shares a very similar name to one of my own characters named Scraphook. He has no relation to this guy. I'm pretty sure I created my character before this guy was even thought of, so yeah, it's just a funny little coincidence. This character has a lot of accessories. Matter of fact, this character is part of a special line of Transformers called Evo Fusion, and I have the box right here. It says right there, Evo Fusion, and that basically means that the figure can come apart into a bunch of pieces and then be put onto other characters. Here we have Armada Universe Hotshot, who is another Legacy figure, which I don't think I'll pick him up because I'm not really into Armada or anything outside of G1 or the movies and stuff. I like the simple stuff, okay? Like any extra extended universe stuff, I'm just not into. This guy, he is a parts former, but the cool thing is that you don't need to parts form him in order to transform. So, yeah, he splits into a bunch of pieces, but we'll get into that later. So coming in for a bit of a closer look, we can starting off with his face. I'd just like to talk about his face for a little bit. How many Transformers do you see that have an eye patch and beard? Okay, that's a very unique thing. I would also like to apologize if my voice sounds a little stuffy. I'm not sure if I'm sick or not. I'm just a little stuffy today. But anyways, continuing on. So most often with Transformers, they have a visor or like a faceplate or both. They don't normally have eye patches or beards. So this is quite a unique sculpting, face sculpt. He's a Junkion, which is a Junkion is a special type of Transformer that is basically a Transformer made of trash that lives on a special planet called Junkion. And yeah, and most of the Junkions, they have unique faces. So yeah, this is one of them. And so on this shoulder, you could see a tow cable from like a tow truck, because that's what he turns into. He turns into a tow truck. And then a spare tire. That could also be like some sort of like one of those like Viking shields. You know, it looks pretty cool. It could also be a gun, I guess, because there's barrels on it for some reason. He's got this bright red chest, which kind of just screams Transformers, because a very common theme among a lot of Transformers is bright, bulky red chests. With the Autobot symbol, he's an Autobot, despite his more evil-looking design. In the back, you can see he's got these pipes, which is quite similar to Age of Extinction and The Last Knight Optimus, with the way his fancy smokestacks look in those movies. Like the triple smokestacks that kind of flare out. Yeah. But all these pieces are accessories, which we'll talk a little more in detail about, but all these pieces come off to leave kind of a more bare, simple Transformer. Down here, you can see some of these red spikes, which is actually kind of a trademark of the Junkions. They all kind of have red spikes kind of just sprinkled throughout. And here, these are his feet, but his feet turn into the front grille of the truck, and as you can see, there's like a lot of greebling going on. Like it's kind of like patched together. It's kind of supposed to be like a cyberpunk type apocalyptic truck when transformed. Yeah, I really like the color schemes of the reds, the browns, and oranges. I don't know why, but those kinds of colors really appeal to me with robots. And if you think about it, a robot that's going into a battle, that's going into war, that's going to be fighting other robots, it's most likely going to get damaged. They wouldn't be a bright, colorful toy truck, okay? If you think about it, like Optimus is a bright, colorful truck, but then he rolls into battle and beats up a bunch of Transformers, a bunch of other guys, and then he rolls out and he's still a bright, colorful truck. Like, what happened to all the battle damage? It's even a problem in the movies. The robots, they look all beaten up, but then they transform into this beautiful looking Camaro. Like, but here, you'd see that there's clearly some age. Like, not only are if you look at the headlights, one of them is clearly damaged, and other parts, like, you'd see little scuffs and scratches that are patched up. On the back here, you see even more patches and scuff marks. But this guy clearly has been into battle and has gotten some battle damage. And the grays and browns just make way more sense for a robot that's gonna be fighting other robots. I mean, just think about that for a second. Now, getting into transformation, and before we transform him, you wanna remove his pounds upon pounds of his endless supply of accessories. Okay, I'll go over all these when we get into like the accessory part, but let's get into transformation. So first, the easiest step to do is to come to his legs, and so what do, you come down to the legs here, and you kind of, so this bit, it kind of sticks out, so you don't want to just push it all the way in. You kind of want to pull it up and like hook it over and then click it in, because sometimes it'll get caught. And we'll do the other side. And also a quick tip when you're transforming him, don't just pull up like this, pull down like this, pull it down and then up. That's something I noticed when transforming him, that you don't want to just pull it up. Then you click his legs together. It's a little tight. As a matter of fact, the problem with this guy is that some joints are extremely stiff and others are like quite loose. Like these arms are floppy, but these are practically impossible to split open. You then open up these bits, and then you pull this entire bit back, fold his head back like this. Make sure these two panels are kind of fanned out, and then we twist this around, flip this entire assembly up, and these little tabs right here plug right there. You just do that, and there's little clips on each side, so you want to line those up. Here we have the front done. Now you can move on to the back. Now the back is actually incredibly tricky to do, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it on camera. And yeah, so first what we want to do is kind of, best part to do is maybe line this part up and down like this, and then take these pieces and kind of swing them up like this, get them into a configuration like this. With the arms, what you want to do is twist the fists like kind of outward like this. So now these two pegs are lined up, and then we twist them in. And also, one problem I have with this, I don't know if it's just my copy of all of them, but these pieces pop off very easily. So, and on top of that, these mushroom pegs are incredibly stiff, so it takes a bit of fiddling. Now that I got into this configuration, you can now fold these bits in like this, like so, and kind of line it all up in the back, and it should all click in like this. Now we can take this entire assembly and fold it down. And here we have the base truck done. Now you can leave it like this and have like an old rusted truck It actually looks really nice like this alone. And you probably didn't actually need all the accessories because this still is a very nice truck. But if we take the accessories, first starting with these two pieces, these will peg, each side will peg onto one side, giving us like a fancy kind of pop-out motor, some sort of giant air intake for the motor. And then we come to the back, take this tow, the cable hitch thing, and then a hook. And here we have like basically the main tow truck, but we could continue to armor it up with some smokestacks. And now the last accessory, this weird extra tire. You could pop it on the back. What doesn't really fit very well there, unless if you have this thing off, because then it could fit fairly neatly. But I normally just pop it on one side and then just turn them so you can't see it. Or you can just take it off and just leave it to the side. So here we have the main truck, the main tow truck mode. And the first thing I have to say about this is Cyberpunk Tomater. Okay? Does anybody else not see Tomater? Rusted brown tow truck? No? Nobody else? Anyways. So yeah, this... So, if you saw if anybody has seen the 80s Transformers the movie, the very first one, the Junkions appear in that, and I'm pretty sure most of them turn into motorcycles, and like they kind of ride each other, kind of like one would turn into a motorcycle and the other one would hop on, and then they would crash, and the guy who is riding then turns into a motorcycle, and the first guy hops on, and then they, I don't know, it's pretty cool. But this guy turns into a tow truck, and yeah, Cyberpunk Tomater. It's really funny. I can just imagine someone doing a custom with this and making like the front like Tomater's eyes, like sanding it down, flattening it, and then making it Tomater's eyes, and then flattening this out and then making that his mouth, adding some couple extra things. Yeah, if any of you do Transformer customs, please make a Tomater custom and then send me a link to the video, please. Thank you. Anyways, so yeah, if you remember earlier, I talked about the Evo Fusion thing. Now, the main gimmick, you're normally supposed to start with truck mode, but you can split the entire front off. You could also split the back off, but it's a little annoying to do, so I won't do that. Yeah, so you just split the entire front off. And if you look inside of the box here, you can see some more. Here you can see this. You see some more Junkions. You can see a guy riding a motorcycle, and then a motorcycle here with a sidecar. This sidecar is actually one of these front grill pieces, because there's a motorcycle Junkion like this guy, another Legacy Junkion that's a motorcycle, and you could actually combine them and stuff. And if you get two motorcycles, you can kind of make, like, you kind of click them together and then like stick it to the front of this guy and have like a motorcycle truck monster. But you do the same thing with the other way around, and if you take these pieces, you could actually plug it to the side of the motorcycle guy and have sidecars. And you can pop that out and put some guns and stuff, but you can kind of see what that looks like. If you really want me to get the motorcycle guy and review him, please leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, I feel like now is probably a good time to get into the Evo Fusion thing, shall we? Alright, so the first step of the Evo Fusion is to completely destroy the guy, okay? Rip the front of the truck off, the back of the truck can come off. Pretty much every accessory, like the smokestacks, the front grill piece, and the toe and wheel piece, it all comes apart. He's a parts former that doesn't need a parts form, but it's kind of like an option. And it's very fitting because he's a Junkion, meaning he's a transformer made of junk, so of course he would probably fall apart. But the whole point is that you could take another transformer and kind of put everything on it. Here I brought in Earthrise Optimus as an example on how to do the Evo Fusion. So here I'll start simple with the shoulders. You can take the shoulders and kind of plug them on. Shoulders like that. Bulk out his shoulders. Then you could take these arm pieces, kind of unfold them, and like plug them onto the sides of his legs, like that. And same on the other side, like that. And then you can take these pieces from earlier, plug them over here and here. And then these smokestack pieces can just like be plugged over here and there. Just kind of bulk it out a little more. Show the entire thing in a minute. Yeah, then you have like the accessories, so you give them a winch and that thing. So here's the entire thing. My hand's a little shaky. Yeah, so this is pretty much how the Evo Fusion works. You basically tear apart one robot to throw it on another. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it seems pretty selfish for one robot to take another robot and kind of just roam on there. Fortunately, there's not really much you can do with the main body piece, but this is kind of, I think this is kind of meant as like a throwaway piece. Not that you would actually throw it away, but just like unimportant to what we're doing right now. But you can get pretty cool results if you spend some time and get like, there's 3 of these guys. There's 3 different ones that I'll get all 3 of them and then try and make something cool out of all 3 of them. But yeah, this is pretty much the main gimmick of Evo Fusion. But as a matter of fact, I've heard a lot of stuff about there being a Junkion Evo Fusion combiner. So I might pick up all the Legacy Junkions and then try and see if I could do something with that. By the way, you could actually still transform him even without his arms and legs attached. So you can even do some reverse Evo Fusion going on. You can mix and match with other parts forming transformers like that. There you go. Here's parts of Ironworks, who I've featured in a YouTube short. Go check that out on my channel. But yeah, you get some pretty cool, crazy stuff. If you have an imagination for it, you can pretty much do anything you want. Your imagination is pretty much the limit there. For size comparisons, we got Ironworks, who I mentioned earlier. He's also kind of a Evo Fusion type character. He's called a Weaponizer, which is a bit of an easier name to remember. Then we also have Earthrise Optimus, as mentioned earlier, and yeah. I'd probably rate this Scraphook a 8.5 out of 10. He's a pretty good figure. He's got a couple flaws, like my copy is probably a little loose in some areas, but he's got pretty good posability, and for only $25, which is actually quite cheap for most Transformer figures now, it's quite a bargain. I heavily recommend you pick this guy up, especially soon before he sells out and he goes for like $50 on eBay. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and also go check out my community tab, because I post there regularly or occasionally And yeah, until next video, and actually speaking of next video, if you want me to do a review of Ironworks or Earthrise Optimus, comment one of the two, which one you want to see, and I'll pick whichever one wins. Okay, and until next time, bye-bye. This is being filmed afterwards, but if you take off all the accessories, you literally get a perfect tomater. Like, he's got no hood, and yeah, he's all rusty and old, and literally a perfect tomater.